I really want to talk about this Atlanta Braves team because it's time to wake up. They are way too talented to be sitting below 500, a good bit back to the Mets in the NL East. I want to see the Braves playing good baseball. I grew up the biggest Atlanta Braves fan on planet Earth. Chipper, Andrew Jones, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, Rafael Furcal, Marcus Giles. That's the era I grew up watching, in love with Atlanta Braves baseball. They were on TBS every night. I am from Richmond, Virginia. The AAA team for the Braves was 10 minutes from my house. I would go watch them all the time. They're the Atlanta Braves. They're the reigning World Series champions. What are you doing? It's time to wake up. It's time to get going. This team did this last year, and they were able to still get to a division title. This year is different. This Mets team is different. This Mets team is really good. They aren't going anywhere, and they aren't going to go on skids of losing 9 of 10 games. They're just not built to do that anymore. They're not going to Met. So if you're a Braves fan thinking we're fine, we did this last year, the Mets are going to Met, guess what? We're going to win our 5th division title in a row. It ain't happening. It's time to get going right now. It's time for your stars to get going. This team is arguably more talented than the team last year that had Freddie Freeman. Obviously, you don't lose Freddie Freeman and immediately become more talented, but what they did bringing in Matt Olson, now they have Ronald Acuna back. They're going to get Mike Soroka back at some point soon, hopefully, who was one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball, one of the bright young stars in the game of baseball before his freak injuries. Friend of the pod said on the show a couple of months ago that he was looking around the All-Star break, the second half, hopefully coming back. That would be huge. This team should be just as good as the World Series winning team, if not better. But they just continue to coast during the regular season, or until they think, oh man, we're in trouble, let's go. But now look at them. They're 8 games back of first place. Last year at this time, when they were doing the same thing, they were coasting, couldn't quite get to the 500 mark. But guess what? This time last year, they were 4 games back of first place. Double that this year, with a team that is way more improved than they have seen in a long time, the New York Mets, and are only going to get better once DeGrom and Scherzer come back. It has been bad. Entering Sunday, the Braves are 13-14 at home, under 500. That's the 17th best win percentage at home. They're way better than that. Offensively, 4 runs a game, 21st in Major League Baseball. They averaged 4.91 last year. That was 8th best in baseball. They lead all of baseball in strikeouts. All of baseball. Their stars aren't hitting like they need to. In the last 30 games, Matt Olson, the prize acquisition this offseason, batting 180 with 35 Ks in 30 games. Marcell Ozuna, 195 with 34 Ks in 30 games. Adam Duvall, 188 with 37 strikeouts. Austin Riley, 220 with 40 strikeouts. Ozzie Albies, 242. These guys have to perform. We're not just talking about good players, we're talking about great players. Matt Olson is one of the best first basemen in the game of baseball. I hear you. Maybe it's the fact that he's stepping in for Freddie Freeman, and the shoes are huge to fill there, and he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. But the other guys, Austin Riley was an MVP candidate last year. Ozzie Albies had a fantastic year and won America free tacos, which I predicted at the World Series. This team has to be better. The offense has been just painfully average, and leads baseball in strikeouts. The pitching has been average as well. I don't know what's going on with this Braves team, but if they think they're just going to coast in the regular season and turn it on the last couple of months like they did last year and win their 5th straight division title, it's not going to happen. Why? Because the Mets aren't going to Met. It's not going to happen. So for the Atlanta Braves, The time is now. The time is right now to get your stars together and to start rolling. Ronald Acuna is back. You have the heart and soul in that lineup back at the top, playing well. Now you have to go. It's time for the reigning champs to go. They don't have any more time to waste. Producer Conrad, it's been tough watching them, man. It has been tough watching the Braves, especially after we were right there last year in person watching firsthand just how good they were at the World Series. They went toe for toe, toe to toe with the best in baseball, the Dodgers and then the Astros, and they beat them both right in front of us. We saw how good they were. And you can't tell me this year that they're much worse of a team, because they're not. They're just not performing at this point, and that makes it tough to watch.
Absolutely. But I think the big thing that people also forget about the team that won the championship last year is they didn't have Acuna, and they went out and made 3 huge acquisitions at the All-Star break to get a center, like an entire new outfield put together with Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler, who was the MVP of the World Series. They had a bunch of guys that just came in and were being dudes for him. I think that's something that they need to get going again, is maybe they make some trades, make some moves at the All-Star break. But I don't know what else this roster would need.
Yeah, well, you know what? And that's you bring up a good point. And we talked about him a little earlier in this show. The Jock Peterson slap heard round the world from Tommy Pham. Jock Peterson has an innate ability to get under people's skin, to play the game hard, to bring an energy to a locker room, to rock the pearls, to get the world, to get Braves country all wearing pearls around the stadium. There's just something about him. He's a winner. He's a winner. He brings excitement. He brings a different mentality to the clubhouse. You heard guys say it. You heard him say it last year. I got into that clubhouse and it just wasn't fun. It needed a change. He brought that change. Now he's gone. The team is just as talented. But there's something to be said about that locker room effect. The Jock Peterson effect. I don't know, man. There's something there. He's gone. People love him. And now the Braves aren't winning. I don't know what you do. You're not going to acquire him back because the Giants are a good baseball team that want to win. But that goes a long way, you know? That goes a long way in showing that what locker room culture means to a team. It's not just what's on the field. It's how the team gets along together in the locker room. And right now, I'm not saying the Braves don't get along in the locker room, because look, we don't know that. But right now, the product on the field isn't as good as it needs to be. And maybe they need another trade acquisition, a shot in the arm to come in and make the Atlanta Braves have fun. Because right now, they're just not very good. And the reigning champs, they need to wake up. Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.